Hey there Sega fans, it's Dan the Mega Driver of the Sega Guys here with another homebrew update, and a very interesting one at that. You see, when you think of Nintendo's F-Zero series and Sega, you probably think of F-Zero GX on the Nintendo GameCube, or F-Zero AX in the arcade, which happen to be the greatest entries to Nintendo's iconic series, because the Big N knew that only Sega could make F-Zero that good. But that's not what we're here for today. No, we have something a little more closer to home. This is G-Zero, a homage to the original iconic Super Nintendo title F-Zero, running on a stock Sega Mega Drive or Sega Genesis for our friends across the pond. This tech demo was released by Sega 68K on the 10th of March. As you have no doubt picked up on, the hook on this demo is of course the beautiful Mode 7 style visuals that give the game some silky smooth scrolling effects. I appreciate that that's a lot of information to drop in just a few seconds, so let's back up a bit. Mode 7 was one of the big technical selling points of the Super Nintendo when it launched in 1990, 2 years after the Sega Mega Drive's debut in Japan. This revolutionary hardware feature would allow the Super Nintendo to move, scale and rotate 2D planes as if they were a 3D space, similar to how the Sega Saturn's VDP-2 chip would do the same thing to multiple backgrounds years later. The game that launched with the console and demonstrated this feature was of course F-Zero. By combining the smooth 3D movement with lavish colour and fast-paced futuristic races, the game was a visual tour de force back in 1990, boasting the sort of technical feats that the Sega Mega Drive supposedly couldn't hope to match. Enter Sega 68K, the genius developer behind some extremely impressive Sega Mega Drive work. You may remember him from his work on the astounding looking Star Fox port, which mimicked the SNES's Super FX powered polygonal visuals on base 16-bit Sega hardware. Then there's the Wolfenstein port, bringing id's iconic first-person shooter to the Mega Drive once again on stock Mega Drive hardware. Sega 68K continued to push the boundaries of Sega's 16-bit console in a bid to bridge the hardware gap to the Super Nintendo. His first Mode 7 demo from 10 years ago featured the iconic first track from Super Mario Kart, albeit with no other racers on screen. This was then updated to swap Mario's world for Sonic's Green Hill Zone, for which a playable demo featuring Sonic in a kart was shared just over 9 years ago. Then came the first signs of F-Zero on Sega Mega Drive and Genesis hardware. Dubbed G-Zero, a name which works on so many levels, just like the Sonic demo, this features a singular racer on a Mode 7 inspired track. As you can see from this previous version, you pilot a vehicle that is very much the Falcon Flyer from the original Super Nintendo game. The resolution in this version was reduced to allow future implementation of a 2-player mode on the console. While time has passed, Sega 68K has continued to work on these impressive projects. Last year they shared that they had added CPU racers to the demo and would be making that demo public. Fast forward to the present day, and that demo is now available for all to try. As soon as you boot this version of the game up, it hits you with that iconic F-Zero music as the game's title zooms in, demonstrating once again some impressive software scaling. On this title screen you can select the number of on-screen rivals from 0 to 5, and once you're happy with that, hit start and you're thrown straight into a race. If you're coming from the previous demo, you may notice that the player's ship has changed. The Falcon Flyer is gone in favour of a more basic design. The update from Sega 68K states that the ship designs are just placeholders for now, and my personal assumption is that ripping multiple sprites from the SNES original may have been problematic for a number of reasons. That aside, I couldn't help but be blown away by what I was seeing. The game moves at an astonishing pace with the scaling that is buttery smooth, even with 5 rival ships on screen. The game is fast and responsive, and I found it an absolute joy to play. Another feature that impresses is the ability to change your viewpoint using the start button, giving you multiple perspectives on this sprite-based 16-bit racer. The music too is absolutely amazing, with an excellent Mega Drive rendition of Port Town, courtesy of Raijin on the Sega 16 forums. This is closer to F-Zero on Sega hardware than I'm sure anyone else thought was possible. Sure, there's a few nitpicks in this demo, as there would be with any such demo. The collision detection and physics need some work, which Sega 68K has said that they are working on, and of course more detailed chip designs would be something that would be very welcome. But this is still an incredible technical feat. I'm sure there'll be some who bemoan the lower colour depth and resolution compared to the original Super Nintendo game, but bear in mind, Nintendo's console had very specific hardware that was enabled to achieve these effects. Sega 68K has achieved all of this in software alone on, and I know I keep saying it, stock Sega Mega Drive hardware. It just goes to show what Sega's 16-bit icon could achieve without any specific hardware. Even more astounding is that this demo only uses the 64K main RAM according to the developer, so it seems there's a little bit more room to expand, and that makes the project all the more exciting. All in all, G-Zero with rival cars on the track is definitely not only an impressive technical showpiece, but a very fun one too, so 16-bit Sega fans should definitely check this out via the link below. And while you're at it, give Sega 68K a follow on social media. Their channel has some great videos on all of their projects as well. And if you've played it already, let us know what you think of G-Zero in the comments below. That's all for this quick video, so until next time we will see you on the Sega side.